everyone. Thanks for joining us on NTA International. I am Dennis Adegunloye. You can watch this bulletin live on Vision 24/7 and other social media platforms displayed on your screen. Let's begin with the headlines. President Tinubu at headquarters of Qatar Foundation International as part of state visit to the country. Cross River State Government explores water transportation to facilitate trade and commerce. And federal government rolls out programs to improve social and economic well-being of smallholder farmers. President Bola Tinubu has officially begun his state visit to Qatar with visits to the headquarters of the Qatar Foundation International, an umbrella body of organizations providing humanitarian support to parts of Nigeria. State House correspondent Musbah Damahab reports.
The city of Doha felt the presence of a president of the largest economy in Africa as he stepped out for his state visit. And as the authority conducted the Nigerian leader and his team around, it was first to their place of pride, the National Museum of Qatar. With exquisite exterior architectural design and immersive interior, the space represents a classic edifice only of its own class. The gallery spaces indeed engaged all the senses in telling the story of a nation and its people, the rich heritage and culture of a country passed on from generation to generations, well accounted for and kept alive. The Qataris say the center does not only house their history, but it is also part of their journey. President Bola Tinubu is the first Nigerian leader so honored with such a journey back in time through the evolution of the state of Qatar.
I'm glad I'm here. It is a great honor. You learn every day of your life. And you see the beginning of nationalism, patriotism, and various challenges along the way. It's marvelous. It's detailed, well-detailed statement of history, culture, and growth, and economic opportunity.
The visit also serves as an inspiration for the visiting delegation.
And you know, we have a plan to do a national museum and a number of other museums all over Nigeria and a number of museums even within some of our missions abroad. So this has been a great inspiration, and I can see where we can tap into the wealth of knowledge of what they have done here in Qatar and to be able to add value to the arts, culture and creative economy within Nigeria.
The president was also led to the headquarters of the Qatar Foundation International, a non-profit organization dedicated to education, research, and community development.
Qatar Foundation, unlocking human potential.
With construction of schools, orphanage homes, clinic, and more, the foundation, through its charity arm, has been lending supportive arm to some states in Nigeria, including Kaduna and Borno.
I think the presence of the President of Nigeria will push forward the Qatari Foundation to broaden their support to Nigeria, especially in the areas of education, health, as well as community development, most especially in the areas of research.
The delegation see a future of a wider collaboration in knowledge sharing between the two nations. From Doha, Musbah Damahab, NT News.
Kenya and Haiti have signed a reciprocal agreement to deploy police from the East African country to lead a UN-backed law and order mission in the gang-plagued Caribbean nation. Kenyan President William Ruto made this known during the visit of the Haitian Prime Minister to his country. Francis Udojo reports.
The visit of the Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry to Kenya is to discuss UN mission as both nations inked a deal to deploy police officers. President Ruto said he and Haitian Prime Minister had discussed the next steps to enable the fast-tracking of the development, but it was not immediately clear whether the agreement would counter a court ruling in January that branded the deployment illegal. Kenya had previously said that it was ready to provide up to 1,000 personnel, an offer welcomed by the United States and other nations which ruled out putting their own forces on the ground. However, a Nairobi court said the decision was unconstitutional, in part because the two countries had not signed a reciprocal agreement on the issue. President Ruto said he and Haitian Prime Minister had witnessed the signing of reciprocal agreement in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. The UN Secretary Council approved the mission in nearly October, but concerns in Kenya over Nairobi's involvement prompted a court challenge.
Let me conclude my remarks by taking this opportunity to reiterate Kenya's commitment to contribute to the success of this multinational mission, and we believe it is a historic duty because peace in Haiti is good for peace in the world as a whole.
What this mission is bringing is hope for the future. Hope for the future for the humankind. Hope for the future for the people that cannot foresee tomorrow. I'm not saying the year after, but they cannot see how they will live the next day.
The ruling threw into doubt the future of a multinational force long sought by Haiti's government, which has pleaded for international help to confront violence that has left nearly 5,000 dead. We will question the validity of this secretive agreement, he said. Haiti has been in turmoil for years, with armed gangs taking over parts of the country and unleashing brutal violence, leaving the economy and public health system in ruins. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
In the US, Republicans have demanded information about a discredited FBI informant whose claims formed the basis of their probe into President Joe Biden. The informant, Alexander Smirnov, was charged with giving false statements to agents last month after 14 years as an FBI source. Smirnov's testimony was a key part of their ongoing impeachment investigation launched last year. Lawmakers gave the FBI until 15th March to provide documents concerning any FBI wrongdoing or inaccurate reporting on Mr. Smirnov. He has pleaded not guilty and is waiting trial in jail. Prosecutors asked that Mr. Smirnov be held without bail, citing alleged extensive contacts with Russian intelligence agencies. The African Union Commission chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat has strongly condemned the mass killing of Palestinians queuing for humanitarian aid. She claimed that the attack by Israeli forces killed and wounded more than 100 Palestinians seeking life-saving humanitarian aid in occupied northern Gaza on Thursday. The chairperson therefore calls for an international investigation into the incident to bring the perpetrators to book. She urges the international community and major world powers in particular to assume their responsibilities to urgently foster peace and guarantee the rights of the Palestinian people. The Yaoundé Military Court in Cameroon has closed its judicial investigation into the murder of a journalist and former director of Radio Amplitude FM, Martinez Zogo, who died over a year ago. Francis Udojo reports that the trial will open in the coming weeks, according to the counter-espionage service, as the 20 or so accused persons have all been referred to the court for various charges.
An official of Cameroon says the end of the judicial investigation comes just 5 days after 5 of those detained had their charges reclassified. 3 members of the DEJ, Cameroon's counter-espionage service, will be prosecuted for assassination. A businessman and the head of the DEJ are accused of having played a role in the death of the director of Radio Amplitude FM, whose tortured body was discovered on the outskirts of Yaoundé in January. Zogo had been missing for 5 days before his remains were located January 22 near Soa, a suburb of Yaoundé. The examining magistrate, in his words, believes that the DEJ intelligence chief, Leopold Maxim Eko, is suspected of having provoked in any way the torture of Martinez Zogo or giving instructions to commit it. In the course of the investigation, the intelligence chief was questioned several times on the substance of the case. In particular, he was confronted by his sole accuser, Justin Danwe, as well as several agents working within the DEJ at the time of the events. Among the incriminating elements that interested investigators was the holding of a meeting which Leopold Maxim Eko, Justin Danwe, and several DEJ technicians allegedly listened to an audio tape attributed to Martinez Zogo, in which he allegedly made defamatory remarks about the head of the intelligence services. The mother of Salomon Mbani Zogo, better known as Martinez Zogo, left many shocked in Cameroon as NGOs continue to call out violations of press freedom and freedom of speech. The man, in his 50s, was the host of a popular daily radio show, Gridlock. On air, he regularly tackled cases of corruption and alleged embezzlement, not hesitating to question important personalities by name. Fellow journalists paid their respects to Zogo and called for an investigation, which Cameroonian President Paul Biya ordered on Thursday, February 2. The probe into the abduction and subsequent brutal killing of the journalist led to the arrest of Jean-Pierre Amogo Belinga and the DEJ intelligence chief, Leopold Maxim Eko. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Now, active participation of the populists in the census project is critical, as information gathered from the exercise is vital for measuring developments and driving purposeful planning. The leadership of the National Population Commission and members of the Senate Committee on Population and National Identity Card have been speaking on achieving full participation of Nigerians with the target of actualizing a transparent census outcome. Olusheye Adeabu reports.
Arrangements to actualizing the first population and housing census in Nigeria in 18 years remain on course, and implementers of the project are sustaining the pace. Having procured almost all the needed census materials, about 800,000 personal digital assistants (PDAs), among other sensitive materials, already delivered to central banks across states of the Federation.
The items that are custodied in central bank are safe.
The National Population Commission offices nationwide have also taken delivery of non-sensitive materials, while the chairman, Senate Committee on Population and ID Card, Abdul Ninge, Nigeria now has all it takes to deliver a transparent census. The MPC chairman, Nasir Isakwara, is worried with the long periods these materials are put on ground and unused.
It is gratifying to know that if it's today that we will have to purchase these items, it would have been another story, considering the exchange rate now. I think we must commend the National Population Commission for their thoughtfulness. The census is on course.
We need to really be given the go-ahead to conduct census as early as possible, because some of the batteries are already going low, and we need to charge them and use the items before they start giving problem by the time we start using them.
The leadership of the MPC also engaged Akwa Ibom State Traditional Council, explaining the Commission's expectations while responding to questions and clearing grey areas. Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
The Cross River State Government is exploring water transportation as an opportunity to facilitate trade and commerce, as well as boost tourism towards strengthening the nation's economy. Governor Bassi Otu made this known while inaugurating the MF Michael Ejaya ferry boat for commencement of passenger services from Calabar to Lim in Cameroon. Justina Etim reports that the governor was represented by his deputy Peter Ode.
Water transportation is considered as one of the cheapest, safest and convenient form of transportation, especially as Nigeria is plagued with poor road network. And so, the inauguration of this 20-seater 4-tons cargo ferry boats to ply Calabar and Cameroon by the Cross River State government will not only ease the transportation needs of the people, but will also open up business opportunities for the state and enhance relations between Nigeria and Cameroon.
So it will not only open the economy, it's going to open tourism, and we are proud to have it here in Cross River State, and we're going to improve on it.
Cross River State's Commissioner for Transportation describes efficient water transportation as key to unlocking the fortunes in the blue economy to drive job creation and prosperity.
40 jobs have been created in the short while. Now, going forward with the kind of things we have discussed, we are looking at creating about 1,000 jobs in the next 2 years in the blue economy.
Operators of the Sea Express Transit Limited say safety protocols and maximum security are in place to ensure quality service delivery.
About 2.5 years ago, I brought them to ameliorate the sufferings of the citizens of Cross River, who hitherto have been using the open ferries we call the moving coffin to operate between here and Oron. But you can see for yourself that there's improvement in service.
The Cross River State government is calling on business-minded Nigerians to invest in water transportation to boost commercial activities in the state. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. We'll take a break. More reports shortly. Stay with us. Federal and state governments have rolled out various programs aimed at improving the social and economic well-being of smallholder farmers with a view to encouraging large-scale production. This is coupled with the intervention coming from development partners within and outside the country. In this report, Musa Baba Aliu takes a look at social security and its impact on food production.
Miriam Okon is a native of Akbobio local government area of Cross River State. She is one of the 22,000 farmers benefiting from the International Fund for Agricultural Development Funds project in the Niger Delta. She says the fish she and others are producing is contributing largely in addressing fish scarcity and inflation in the country.
Train me on how to take care of fish from fingerlings to table size. I was taught on how to keep farm record. I was taught even about the weather, that weather at times is not really as in like good and good weather and bad weather. I was taught on how to feed fish. I was taught on how to sell. Like I was even taught about marketing too.
Similarly, these farmers in Kafin House local government area of Jigawa State are beneficiaries of the agricultural transformation program of the African Development Bank ATAS-1. They were supported with inputs across 6 states in the northwest and north central geopolitical zones of the country.
The administration think out of the box to try and bring a program that will cushion the effect of this food crisis. So it came up with the Agro Pocket, in essence, to help farmers with the necessary inputs to produce more so that they crash the prices of food, especially staple foods.
Agriculturists are of the view that such support encourage smallholder farmers to produce more.
We talk about our smallholder farmers, but we also realize there are a lot of people who have done significant investment to have large or medium-sized farms. And this year, we are having our searchlight on these categories of farmers also. And our intention is to make sure that whatever investment, whether private or government, let us get the maximum benefit of that investment.
In the meantime, state governors are also rolling out support programs for poor and vulnerable Nigerians in their states. This is to cushion the effect of the high cost of foodstuff being experienced across the nation.
But the state government also, in its own effort, has acquired over 120 trucks of food to complement what the federal government is doing so that it can reach more people.
Having now 2 harvests for rice in the state, most of the farmers are able to harvest rice twice, and we are trying to see as much as possible if we can get some of their other yield to be highly improved.
However, recent market survey indicates that the prices of grains are gradually increasing in some informal markets against what was being observed in the last couple of days. The affected grains include maize, sorghum, millet and beans. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, has created job opportunities in the agricultural sector worth more than $30 million in the Niger Delta. The initiative is being implemented under a Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises project for the Niger Delta. National coordinator of the program, Sani Fatai Abiodun, says the project has so far created and supported 22,150 enterprises out of the targeted 25,500 across the participating states.
We have provided enough capacity to farmers who are beneficiaries of the project, provide them the necessary incentive in terms of financial inclusion and also extension service to ensure that lively productivity is attained, and also they get value for money for the produce that comes from their respective farms. So they are encouraged to go into the farms and produce and substantially meet the food requirements of the region at large. So as a project, we've infused a lot of funds, provided working capital, provided seed capital to our beneficiaries, and also support them from the government perspective through necessary grants to ensure that largely production and also marketing as well as processing.
So definitely the state will be encouraged to make sure that the counterpart form is paid.
Abia, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo and Ondo states are participating in the initiative. The federal government is cascading the gains of budget process reforms at the subnational level to improve strategic budget performance in Nigeria's health sector. Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, said this at a retreat on health budget process reforms in Abuja. The minister, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, observed the project will lead to better health outcomes across the country.
Show you how it's done at the national level, I beg your pardon. So we cascade to you how the call circular comes up, the mock budgets that we do in the Ministry of Health, because everything we're doing has to do with the Ministry of Health and how it can provide better health outcomes for the citizens.
So they came up with a collaborative mechanism, which is called the Planning and Budget Committee, which allows the planning department to collaborate with the budget department in making sure that the annual operational plans that is developed every year is aligned with the budget of the Federal Ministry of Health, so that we can be able to achieve the goals of the Federal Ministry of Health.
Speakers observed the meeting is aimed at rolling out key budget process reforms at the subnational level, brainstorming on approaches for adaptation to improve budget processes and presenting a roadmap for the project in the pilot states.
And one of the best ways to do that is first of all to write a very relevant strategic plan that is dynamic and sensitive to what you're hoping to achieve as a subnational and as a country.
But we have a peculiar problem. Despite the fact that it aligns, it never comes to pass in terms of budgetary releases. So our problem is a bit peculiar.
The project, implemented by the Ministry of Health with technical assistance from R4D, is supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to strengthen health budget processes across states. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Bubar Marwa, says the agency will continue to drive its mandate on drug supply and demand reductions to the fullest, attributing the agency's seizure of its highest heroin package to the commitments of NTAi's personnel. The NTAi chairman, who said this on the sidelines of the recently concluded retreat for the signing of performance contract by heads of agencies and parastatals under the Federal Ministry of Justice held in Abuja, made a special presentation on the well-coordinated operation that led to the seizure of the agency's largest single heroin consignment, weighing 49.7 kilograms with street value of about $25 million.
This recent seizure is a testament and a warning to the barons and the cartels that however you conceal it, however you move it on land, sea or air, the NTAi will get you and you face the full wrath of the law. We are very encouraged with that seizure, as was the case with previous seizures. We'll continue on our mandate to the best of our ability.
Brigadier General Marwa, while applauding the sacrifices and efforts of officers and personnel of the NTAi, commended President Bola Tinubu and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, for their support and encouragement to the agency. And now let's get a quick look at the weather prospects for Sunday in Nigeria and some parts of the world. Well, this is where we conclude the news at this time on NTA International. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye.